What's up with Sean Baligian?
What up? This is Joique Bell here on the Baligian and Bell Show.
Make sure you check us out on the Woodward Sports Network.
What up, Doe? How are you? It is going to be one of those days, I'm telling you. Sometimes you can feel it in the air. That's what Art was saying like 5 seconds ago. He goes, I have a feeling it's going to be one of those days. It's Baligian and Bell here, Woodward Sports Network. So glad you could join us. He's Joique Bell. I'm Sean Baligian. It's not just any Tuesday. It's
Transformation Tuesday.
Transformation Tuesday.
Yeah. Transformation.
Do you know why I'm laughing? Can I tell you why I'm laughing?
No.
Joique has... He said no. Can I please tell you why I'm laughing?
All right.
You made me laugh a couple minutes ago, and I can't get it out of my head.
Was it the...
When you were doing your sports update.
Oh, my sports update.
And Joique begins his sports update with "What up, Doe?" Right?
Yeah.
And then, like, after doing a couple of them, he totally went with the Livonia version of "What up, Doe?" And, like, he caught himself, and he goes, "Oh, gosh, I'm starting to sound like Sean."
Sean is rubbing off on me. Sean is rubbing off on me.
See, you say it so legitimate.
What up, Doe?
Yeah, right.
What up, Doe?
What up, Doe?
It's almost as if it's what up, dog. It's almost as if
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
So L-Town, we're gonna give Joique the official L. You get the L, and you're gonna be a member of L-Town.
No. I'm Benny Ha Ha all day.
Benny Ha Ha all day.
Benny Ha Ha all day.
That's all right.
All right.
That's all good.
Yeah. All
so
love for Livonia though. Number love.
So many things going on. The Brady Tyrann Mathieu situation is very interesting. Brady, of course, was going at it with Mathieu all game long, and evidently he apologized via text after the Super Bowl. Mathieu is quoted as saying, "I've never really seen that side of him." A lot of people are wondering aloud what he called Tyrann Mathieu because in a now since deleted tweet, he deleted a couple tweets. He said, yeah, he called me something that I'm not going to repeat. And of course, in today's society, I mean, you know as well as I do, we can pretend like people aren't wondering what it is if you want. And I'm tired of people playing pretend today, just me personally for one person.
Yeah.
I think everybody wants to know what exactly was said. I don't think we're ever going to know, are we, Joique?
I think that might be between them.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was anything that was. I don't think it had anything. I don't think it was a racial slur. I think it was more so just, probably calling him out his name or something like that. Probably some, around those lines. No, I don't. Not Brady.
No,
not
well,
Brady.
and it's.
I mean, anything, anyone can do it, but I just don't see that coming from Brady. Just from watching him over the years and how he conducts himself, I think that in the Super Bowl like that, and it might have been some words back and forth. It's going to be a lot of chirping during the game. I remember, I've chirped at people before. They chirped at me, I chirped back, and the game wasn't as meaningful as that game. So when the emotions are high in that game, I'm pretty sure something came out of his mouth, but I don't think it was that.
No, I don't think it is either. I don't. Now, there are rumors out there. I'm not going to talk about unsubstantiated rumors. That's one thing I'm just not going to do. But I think, to me, and I go back to what I said a couple minutes ago, we can pretend that people don't care about knowing, but people want to know.
They want to know.
Because it's Tom Brady.
It's Tom Brady.
That's really...
It was somebody else.
Do you know what it comes back to? It comes back to something I've heard you say multiple times, okay?
What was that?
People kind of dig. Not all people. Some people kind of dig watching the superstar fall. They do. Whether it be media, whether it be fans, I think people get into that, which I don't quite understand, but I think that's kind of the dynamic that's going on, because as I was reading this story as it was developing yesterday, Joique, that was the first thing that I thought of is you saying that. People love to build you up, but people love to tear you down as well. And I thought this kind of fits and is very applicable in this case.
It is very applicable. And we say this all the time. As soon as a person, so you have NFL players, right? You have professional basketball, you have NBA players, and then you have the superstars of that particular league. Tom Brady is the rock star, one of the rock stars of the NFL. LeBron is the rock star for the NBA. And so when you've had all this positive publicity over the years, and it's just how it is, right? And so they build you up, right? And you're already a big story when you're doing positive things. And then when you go crashing down, it's a bigger story. I'll give you a quick take. Chris Brown was going up, and then he made that mistake, and now Art hates him. Art hates him, right? Hates him. But Art's not the only person that feels that way. It's a lot of people around the world who feels that way. But a lot of people love Chris Brown when he was at the top. And then you make mistakes, and you continue to make mistakes, and then you start to lose your credibility, and people start to dislike you, and they start to dislike your music. Even though you have good music, they start to dislike you because of the things you do. And so the thing with Tom Brady is we probably never going to know.
I don't think it's ever coming out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be between them.
Yep.
I think it's going to be between them.
Would you keep it between you and him?
If it wasn't a racial slur, then yes, I'll keep it. Okay. I'll keep it between.
What if it was, just throwing it out there, a homophobic slur? Is that something you just say, okay, slip of the tongue, bad moment, my bad, I'm never going to get it out there?
In my case, yes. I mean, in my case, I would. Yeah, I would.
It's interesting because you bring up the Chris Brown thing. There are things that I think can be forgiven. I also think what Chris Brown did, there are a lot of people out there that are never going to forgive him.
Yeah.
That's just the way.
Yeah.
Now, if you said a word, depending on what the word is, I think if you drop the N-bomb, that's something, I don't think you come back from that. I just don't think you come back from that. If it was another word, depending on what it is, maybe you come back from it. I think
it's all subjective, right?
Yeah.
It's going to depend on the person and how it affects them.
Yeah.
It's not going to affect everyone the same way.
Sure.
That's just not the way it works. All right. It's going to affect some people more than others. It's going to affect other people less. All right. So if this was to come out and say he called him a bitch.
Okay.
All right. It's not a big deal. You know, it's not a big deal. Now if the female ref made a bad call and they call her bitch, then that's something different.
Yep.
Then that's something different.
Yep.
But say if it was a male who they called a bitch, would it be as big of a deal? They would have called it wouldn't. So it just depends on who it is. If it's a player on the field and we say some words to one another that's not a racial slur, then it's not going to be that big of a deal. Scott
brought up something. Gosh, Scott, this is unbelievable at this point because I felt this way the second I saw it. He said, Joique, Chris Brown did make one mistake. He made a dozen. Ray Rice made one mistake, and he's been punished more than Brown has. The difference, Rice was on video. That video was so disgustingly graphic that Ray Rice wasn't coming back from that.
He wasn't.
He was.
Regardless, I mean,
he wasn't coming
I don't
back.
know what the rumors were. She spit in his face, and he hit her just out of retaliation. But regardless of that being spit in the face, like, how would you handle that? I'm not saying he handled it the right way. How would you handle that if you're on the elevator and the person you're with is drunk and they spit in your face? I don't know. I think that's what I read is what happened with that specific case. Like, how would you handle that, Art?
How would I handle that?
Yeah. No,
I know that we had a discussion a while back with the Seahawks player, and it's you never hit a woman no matter what. Uh-huh. So to me, I've been hit by a woman. I've been, not beat up bad, but I've been, and I don't hit back. Like I go stay at a friend's house.
Don't you turn around and walk the other way?
Yeah, you
right?
can, but sometimes it's in those situations where you can't. Like you can't. Like in my situation, I was bit and hit, and I'm not like, oh, feel bad for me. I'm just explaining. Like I think there's a percentage of men out there that would have swung.
So my question is, why aren't women held to the same standard as men when it comes to domestic violence?
Because in society, women are viewed as weaker in an aggressive manner. So you automatically think if you're a guy, you should not hit a woman because she's not as strong as you. I don't think it's right. I
don't think anybody should lay hands on anybody. I really don't.
You shouldn't touch anybody regardless of the situation.
Any side.
I just don't think it should happen.
Any side, right? And so would you say, because I never heard you say anything about Rihanna in the case, was she the aggressor? And he retaliated?
No, they were both in a car and they were arguing, and she tried exiting the vehicle, and that's when he hit her.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean,
is that what happened?
That is what happened. Yeah, they were driving in his Lamborghini. He wouldn't let her
That
out of
Lambo?
the car. Yeah, in the Lambo. Yeah.
That Lambo?
Yeah.
All right.
But regardless, that just shows you that like tempers flare no matter how much money you're making or what fame you're at. Regardless, to me, I've been in positions where I've been extremely aggressive.
I've been blessed enough not to be put in a position. Well, I have been put in a position many times, but
You just turn around and walk away?
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah,
but that's
but like you know what? Everyone's not blessed with that. With that, I can see everything that would transpire if I were to do something like that.
Oh, you would be put on the stage. Yeah, you would be done for.
Yeah. You'll be, and it's just, not only is it wrong, but you just got too much at stake.
The thing is I've been in situations where tempers have flared, people have been aggressive, and, there's a difference between punching a wall and punching someone. Like, I'm not saying I'm 100% innocent and getting my aggression out on a drywall like my name's Kyle. But regardless, I've never put my hands on a woman. A woman has put their hands on me, and that's where you put your hands behind your back. And I hate to say it, you call the cops. If you want to call me a PUSSY for doing that, like whatever, I will call the cops and I will leave the situation. I've never put my hands on a woman.
So,
what's interesting about my generation?
What's up?
And Maz, I think you'll agree with me.
It was
my generation used words that we shouldn't have used a lot. If we're being honest, my generation. And what I mean by that is there was a homophobic slur that was used in everyday conversation that didn't mean what it means, but we just said it all the time. And you have to change. That word's out of my vocabulary now, and I think everybody knows what word it is. But I'm just telling you. Hey, Art, you coming over tonight? Oh man, I'm sorry, I can't make it. Oh, you suck. You're. It didn't mean that. But that was a word that we used. And you know what? We've evolved to the point where, we shouldn't use that word.
All right.
But again, if we're being honest, that was a word that my generation, Tom Brady's part of my generation, we used that word all the time. We did. I mean, unless you want to lie, if you're one of those guys that wants to lie, you can go right ahead and lie.
That's not your generation. That's a lot of people's generation.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So that word, what it means today and the negative connotation that it has, that word's gone. I don't use that word.
The G word or the F word?
The F word.
Okay.
Nobody uses that word anymore. I'm not using that word.
Yeah, they don't use that.
Yeah, but
even the S word.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That word got thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me because I don't know what was said. There are allegations out there. I don't think things are ever going to come out. I mean, if it comes out, it's going to be from Mathieu, and it sounds to me like he's going to let sleeping dogs lie, and maybe he accepted the apology and moved on.
Yeah, and it's funny that you bring it up. So this is a sports show, but what we'll talk about here, we'll talk about why that was so frowned upon in the black culture, and we'll talk about say Jamaica. Mm-hmm. So back when they had slaves, they did a different type of plantation in Jamaica where it was called buck. It was called buck training, something like that, where they basically you had all these black men and you had these white slave owners who, what would happen is the way that they would try to get the slaves to kind of conform to what they wanted was they'll try to take the leader, they'll strap him down in front of the whole black community, all of them, in front of hundreds of them, and they would rape black men, and that's why it's and it's what they would do in front of everyone to show, like, I just made your leader submit to me sexually. That's why it's so frowned upon in the culture there in Jamaica, right? And even here, right? And that's one of the things that, and that's one of the reasons why it's so looked down upon in the African American culture. And a lot of people don't even know that. They just look down on it, and they don't know they don't know the history behind why it's looked upon. All right, and so we have to educate ourselves on our history so we don't make the same mistakes. And not saying that if that's what you decide to do, that's your life. You do what makes you feel happy, but know the history behind what you're doing. Period. Point blank. People who don't know the history, learn the history before you make comments that can affect the person's lives. Because people who are homosexual have killed themselves over society and how they make them feel when they go out because they feel like they don't belong. And so you have to be very educated, and you have to be very specific, and you have to be very detailed on speaking on these type of situations. So that's a little education for us today, because a lot of people didn't know that.
No,
All right.
no.
All right.
Somebody said, Jenna said the R word. And Kenny said, what is the R word? That is another word that was my generation.
I don't know the
A
R
mentally
word.
disabled person.
Oh, okay.
My generation threw that around constantly.
But they even had it in schools. They had to remove it out. Mm-hmm. And it just went to special education.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right. And so yeah, they had all of that.
And you know what? I mean, like so many other things, it just comes back to be nice. Like, kind of accept people for who and what they are. If they're not hurting you or they're not hurting anybody, it's really not as difficult as I think we as a society make it
I don't
be.
think you have to say that. I think we can say that word because we're not directing it towards anyone, right? It's just when you're directing it towards someone, right? You don't direct it towards a person. But, I mean, it's... If
I disagree with you, that was... I'll use another analogy. If I disagree with you on something, that's when that word would be dropped.
Right.
Joique, are you kidding me?
You must be.
And again, it didn't mean what it meant, but we as a society have gotten better, so we don't use it.
Yeah,
it's pretty simple.
You know, though, and there's some words like that, you know, because it's affected so many people, and mostly in the school system, with young kids who's been affected by it, who now they might be going through some type of therapy or something to help get them past that point. But it's some words like we can use, right? Like when you're with your friends, that you can't use in society. And I'm not saying like the N word. Like
I get you.
Yeah. It's some words you can use, but it's some words you should never use. But society had put a label on a lot of words that, you know, you grew up on, that you weren't educated on. But even after you found out what the meaning was, it's like, well, okay, I have to be careful with that in public.
You know what it comes back to, Joique, is okay, that may mean nothing to you, but somebody who either has a relative, a child, or whatever might be really offended by saying that. So you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it.
Right.
It's kind of simple, right?
Yeah, you're right. But at some point, when I was listening to one of my favorite comedians in the world is Dave Chappelle. Mm-hmm. Dave Chappelle, one of my favorites. He's one of the greatest of all time. Right, top 5 in my book of greatest comedians to come through, and he would talk about these certain things in his skits, right, in his work, and he said something like, "Where did we become so soft as a society to where we can't use or say what we mean without hurting someone's feeling?" All right, like to say what we mean without hurting someone's feeling, and it doesn't always have to be something that's a racial slur, but what I'm saying is it's just certain things that we have to be very politically correct when you're on a show like this, because freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequence, and we talked about that. And so, but in the line of work of a comedian, they can get away with it because they're comedians, and it's like it's okay when it comes for them, right? Just like it's not okay for a person in the army to get killed. But if we watch TV, some people feel like, oh, he was in the army, that's okay. But no, it's not. It's not. But we look at it and it becomes repetitive, and it becomes sort of a norm. Like, okay, we expect for that to happen.
Well said. I'll tell you the flip side to that, Joique, and I think this goes hand in hand. And Art, you've been in this business a long time. Maz, you've been in this business a long time. There is one undeniable fact that I will say until the day I leave this business. There are people out there right now that are waiting, yearning to be offended. There are. That's the reality of it.
Watching it every day.
They are waiting, and they will take something.
Opportunists.
They will take something that you said. They will take something I said, and they will twist it any way you want.
Oh, you talk about the media?
No, I'm talking about in this.
I'm joking.
Yeah,
I'm joking,
in this medium, they will take it. I think I made reference to this. I had to have a meeting years ago with the Jewish Anti-Defamation League over something that I said on the radio. That even when they told me what I said, okay, I had no idea what they were getting at until like they explained to me, and then I was like, oh. I use a reference for a friend of mine who worked in the business, loved him some pot. There's no other way to say it. And I used a term for getting stoned.
Right. And
somebody said that I wish I was making this up, that I was making fun of the Holocaust. I'm not. I wish I was joking. And it was funny because my boss who
What?
Yes. My boss who
I'm gonna stop you there, Sean. It's people like that, right? It's people like that in the society, in this type of society that we're in now, that gets us to the state that we're in now.
You're absolutely right.
It's people like that.
It was so
he had
funny.
He had to be high when you said
Joique,
that.
I'll never forget it because when they came in, one of the ladies was so mad at me, and she was like giving me this look that if she could incinerate me with her eyes, she'd incinerate me.
And wasn't that Karen?
So when we had to go find the comment at hand, and when we found the comment at hand, the other lady like goes, oh, and she put her head down and she goes, I'm so sorry to waste your time.
Yeah.
And the other lady goes, what are you talking about? What? And she goes, it's a reference to somebody smoking pot.
Look at Scott. Scott says
and
that.
Well, thanks. You just made me crap my pants for the last 3 days. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You see what Scott says, the worst is when someone decides that they don't like what you're saying. Oh, I'm sorry. We got another message. Someone doesn't like what you are saying, so they go back 30 plus years to find something that they can use against you, even if it means taking it out of context.
That's happening today. If you don't think it's happening,
that happened to the biggest superstar.
Blind.
That happened to the biggest superstar of the comedic world, actually recently with Kevin Hart. And his dream was to do the Oscars, and he declined the Oscar because he said he wasn't going to apologize for what he said because it was a joke. And he's a comedian. Like, he's a comedian. Like, he jokes about things that goes on in the everyday world. Right? This is what he does. And not saying what he said was right, but it's part of his job is to talk about what's going on in the world. He made a comment about if his son was gay, that he would take his dollhouse and break it on his head. But it was a joke for him because he said that was his biggest fear, being a straight man, that for his son to be gay. And that was something he said in this skit, and he posted on Twitter. And then they said nothing then, and then 10 years later, after he got the opportunity to do the Oscar, they came after him. They said, oh, well, he said this 10 years ago. And the Oscar said, well, you have to apologize for that. He said, I'm not. He said, I mentioned this over and over again. Like, I apologize for it. I'm not about to keep doing it. And they took it away. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah.
You know what we need? We need to, as a society, we have to start shouting some of these people down because it's gotten to the point of absurdity. There's just no other way to say it.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunately, I think the few are dictating what is and what should be for the many, and I have a problem with that. I think if the rest of us go, lighten up, just lighten up. We all need to do it. You know, I mean, it's incredible. Somebody asked, what does your hat stand for? Joique. Somebody asked your hat that you're wearing, your Do Work Veteran hat right now. What does that stand for? Is there significance?
No. Actually, a veteran gave this to me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just.
He gave it.
It was cool cap. I liked it. I was like, man, this is dope. This is a dope hat. And so Do Work Veteran. So it's kind of like a representation, you know, showing my support for the people in the armed forces. So I was just supporting. He gave it to me. Said, you know, he started this, or his friends had something to do with starting this up. So I was like, yeah, it's fine. So got it, and I still have it.
Want to talk a little bit about what we saw down in Tampa, and again, we're going to have an adult conversation about some of this COVID stuff as well.
Yep.
Because it does pertain to sports. There's no doubt about that. Lots of things to do. Want to talk about something. Tom gave me his Maz tip of the day. This is an important day for those of you, the Fab Five. We'll explain how. It's also National Pizza Day. And as crazy as it sounds, is there anything more American than, well, pizza?
No.
Really? I'm serious. Is there anything? Because that's not Italian. American pizza's pizza. That's American pizza, right?
It's the Detroit pizza for me.
Yeah.
The Four Corners.
Good stuff.
Hey.
Although I got to be honest with you, I do like that New York style. Tip of the cap to Maz. I like that thin crust. Load me up some flavor on there. I'm a big fan of that. Don't go anywhere. So glad you can join us. It is a Tuesday morning. Some heavy stuff to get into today. Yeah. Before we talk about some of the ramifications of all those maskless people down in Tampa, don't forget, if you're looking to start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry, well, there's no place better to check out than visiting northwesterntech.edu. Joique Bell, Sean Baligian, Art Maz in the house. This is Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Hi, how are ya? I told you, dude. I'm not telling the whole story. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that whacked out?
It's wild.
That's
You just told us the story. That's crazy.
what you have to deal with. That's what you have to deal with. In
crazy.
Our business. Art, I'm sure you've had to deal with it being on the radio. Some things being thrown your way.
Yeah, I got fired for drawing a dick in the snow. So.
Did you really?
Yeah, and then they fought me for unemployment. They said it was destroying company property. Shout out to KHQ in Traverse City.
What?
Probably get sued for that too.
What? Wait. In the snow?
Yeah, I was bored. We had the voice track on the weekends for free.
You was bored, so you drew a dick in the snow.
Well, actually, it was the news reporter who did it, but I took the blame for it and ended up getting fired for it. So we each drew a dick. His was better. I posted it on social media. Got fired 2 days later. I'm a good friend, though. So.
Okay.
Man, are you the...
Whoa, dude.
What are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
Everybody say hi to my buddy Paul from Hideaway Lanes in Almont. Go bowling. You and Almont are friends now, aren't you, Maz? I remember that. Mitch said it's just too much, man. So many people think their opinion matters on stupid bleep like that. Who cares what Kevin said or did? Get over it. He's a comedian. He has to make content. It was funny, and if it offends you, then you're soft. And hold on a second. I'm trying to click
I
see
don't mean
more,
that, but
and
the
it's
people
not
it
clicking
offends.
more, but that's all right. So yeah, I don't know what happened. Somewhere along the line, things like that happen, and that's the way that it goes. All right, so the Tampa mayor is frustrated by all the maskless parties,
for sure.
right?
For sure. You have that picture, Art. Bring it up real quick. And it's stuff like this, right? And it's
I know where you're going.
It's the young kids.
Yeah.
It's the young kids. Mm-hmm. And You know I'm going with it?
I believe I do. I
Go
don't
ahead.
know 100%.
You're not. Go ahead. Where?
Because there are multiple pictures of the mayor of Tampa not wearing her mask as well.
Okay. All right. So my whole take on it is they gave out 200,000 free masks. They knew that was going to be crazy. And you have these young kids who in their head thinking, well, you know, I'm young. It doesn't affect me that much. I'll be fine. I'm not around my family. But you got to imagine if, you know, one of those person goes out and say they go back home to visit their grandparents or their parents or their aunts, their uncles, and that's how you spread it. But, you know, I can't take anything away. They did just win the Super Bowl. And so the second one in team franchise history. And so go have fun, enjoy, but be safe.
Be safe.
Be safe. Just wear a mask. Just be safe. You can still move it and take a beer. You can crush it on your head. You can still have fun, you know, enjoy it. But be safe. Don't put your family in harm's way.
You know, and it's interesting because, again, we've gotten to the point where everybody's so dug in on issues that we can't look at a situation and say, well, both things can be true, right? And I'm going to give you an example. Do you remember when Alabama won the national championship about a month ago, right? Alabama pounds Ohio State in the national championship. All everybody did was chastise the people of Tuscaloosa, including young people, for not wearing a mask, right?
All right.
And I think that's the right thing to do. Okay, let's be smarter. Okay, let's do what we can. And to me, like I always look back. Am I worried about COVID? Absolutely not. I'm just not. Okay, but if you're worried about COVID and you don't feel comfortable, well then you know what? The least I can do is just say, yeah, I'm going to wear my mask or anything. So here's the angle. So they got chastised, and there were all these reports of doom and gloom, and wait till you see the spike in Tuscaloosa, okay? A month later, do you know what happened?
What happened?
It went down. It went down. Now, I know what you're thinking. Let me beat you to the punch, okay?
Nah.
That doesn't mean that COVID isn't real. That doesn't mean that COVID isn't deadly. That doesn't mean that COVID isn't scary. That doesn't mean that you should do everything you can to protect your friends and family. But I hope that we're adult enough, and unfortunately we aren't more often than not in society, but I hope that you're adult enough to say all the gloom and doom that people said was going to happen during football season didn't happen. All the myocarditis that was supposed to afflict so many of these young athletes, we haven't seen it.
What's the success rate?
It's been incredible. We haven't seen these things. Tuscaloosa a month ago, Pat Forty, who I respect like you wouldn't believe. Pat Forty went off for 2 days about these dummies down in Alabama and Tuscaloosa. And just wait, this thing's gonna spike, and it's gone down in the last month.
My question is this. You have the Buccaneers playing home for the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't think there was going to be any outbreaks of parties if they won. That's what you thought. If it was that big of a concern, why not just, you know, you can't put a curfew on because who's going to be in the house? So what can you do? Have more officers out, have more law enforcement out, enforcing the law. That's the only thing you can think of, you know. But, hey. They won the Super Bowl.
I just
let them enjoy it.
I look at it this way, Joique, especially, you know what, you best better make sure that somebody isn't going to take a picture of you sitting in the Lowe's watching the game with your mask off. And unfortunately, and Art, you can find it, I'm sure. I should have sent it to you. Sure as shit, there's the mayor of Tampa sitting in the booth with a mask off. Now, that's never going to go over well. It just isn't.
Question, how many people were in the booth with her?
I think if I remember the picture, I think there were 4 people in the picture.
4 people in the picture?
I think there were 4 people in the picture.
Was it her family, though? Because
that I don't know.
Right. If it's around her family, take your mask off. If she's with her family in a booth, and these are the people that she's around continuously.
You know what I did? I think I told you this. Christmas Eve, my father and my mother came over, and my father, his whole thing with dealing what he's going through right now is he says it probably 3 times a week. What's it going to do? Kill me? And it just makes me laugh because that's my dad. That's my father's got terminal cancer, and so this COVID thing, he's going, what's it going to do? Kill me? He doesn't care. My mom is very worried about it. I think not just for him, but for her. So you know what? My mom said, hey, we're coming over. You know your dad is adamant about coming over. Can you guys wear a mask? And we were like, absolutely we can. 100%. It was weird being in my own home wearing a mask, but if my mother feels more comfortable with it, whether I believe it or not is inconsequential. To me, it's like if this puts somebody at ease, then okay, I'll do it.
Put them at ease.
It's not a big deal, right?
Put them at ease. You know,
it don't make sense to me.
You know, I go. My grandparents they beat it, and I go back to the house and they just want me over there, and I'm chilling on the couch and we're talking, we're laughing, and no mask are being worn in the house. I mean, that's, you know, they're comfortable with me, but, you know, they're not comfortable with everyone. So when they go out in public, they wear it. Whenever I come back home, they're acceptable with, they accept me coming in and not having a mask on. But
now, you know, the mayor said that they were going to use facial recognition on videos to determine who didn't wear a mask and arrest and prosecute those who didn't. We are never going to have a full adult conversation about this whole thing.
It's not about to happen.
It's never going to happen.
That's not about to happen. But it's a good scare tactic. Right? It's a good scare tactic. That's what they use on the people who invaded D.C. They're going to say that, but they're not about to do that for not wearing a mask. Are you serious?
Joique, it's almost like that bit that they used to pull on us in high school. Okay, we have your names. We advise you to turn yourself in. We know who is involved in this. If you know what's good for you and you want to get less punishment, you better come turn yourself in. So even at 15 years old, I'm going, you must think I'm a dumbass.
All right.
No way in hell I'm going to go cop to what I did. No way in hell. I guess they got me. Well, instead of getting suspended 5 days, maybe I'll only get 3 days if I turn myself in.
You know what's funny? It was a scene where these guys had robbed a bank, and in this scenario, we'll say these guys went to a party without a mask, and the police got there and they arrested the guy. The other guy got away. He was hiding in the bushes, right? And as the police were taking the guy, putting him in the back of the car, and his friend was walking by the bush. They didn't see his friend in the bush. He said, hey, yo, Johnny, come on, man. They got us, man. They got us. It's on his friend. They got us, man. He's like, man, shut up. They got us. That'd be art.
Vinny said, I see people at my local Kroger maskless. They walk in past the greeter at the door with a mask on and then take it off once they are past the greeter. Nobody that works there is going to tell them otherwise, because in today's society, that's what will start a fight. Yeah, that's where we're at right now. It just, to me, I'm going to say it again. I'm the type of person, if you tell me that something is going to happen and it doesn't happen, I'm going to tell you, hey, wait a second, it didn't happen. Right. You know what I mean? If all I hear is Tuscaloosa is going to be besieged with COVID cases because of everybody going out and partying, and the numbers actually go down in the next month, am I a bad guy for saying, hey, you were wrong? And unfortunately, in today's society, if we're being perfectly honest, yes, you are. You're a bad guy for telling the truth. You are. You know it, I know it. Oh, so you're a COVID denier? No, I'm not a COVID denier. It's a very scary thing. I'm just saying, you told everybody that Tuscaloosa, this was the end of Tuscaloosa as we knew it. This was it. And people get mad at you, and it's like, wait a
They can't get mad at you.
That's where we're at right now as a society. It's freaking insane.
It can't be insane. It can't be insane, Sean.
Why do people do that though? Like Joique football. It's such a bad idea to play football. Do you know what we're doing? How'd that work out?
How did that work out?
Come on, let's be again. I'm asking you to be an adult.
Even in high school, what they had a 98%,
99.8%. 99.8%.
But if they were doing the football and basketball games after 10 p.m., everybody knows COVID goes rampant after 10 p.m. So
horrible.
we're lucky.
Horrible after 10.
Horrible after 10.
Yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason for half of the
You know what they
things that
say?
we're going through
You know
right
they
now.
say that COVID come out in them demon time hours.
The demon time.
That's demon time.
And again, if you're watching right now, instead of going, oh, these guys are all anti. No, COVID's real. COVID's scary. COVID has killed people that I know. COVID has probably killed many people that we know out there. Okay, so don't misconstrue. Please don't misconstrue. I just think all these doom and gloom proclamations, okay, must be called out. What are we doing if we're consistently hearing from one side of an argument? That's a problem, isn't it? There are always both sides. There are always two sides. And again, for the record, stay safe, wear a mask, wash your hands, social distance if you can.
That's it.
I'm down. I'm down. But if you tell me that this is going to be the end of Big Ten football as we know it, if you tell me that the GLIAC shouldn't play because look, other conferences are so dumb, wait till you see what happens. Hey, newsflash, GLIAC, do you wish you played now? And I understand a lot of it had to do with testing, and they couldn't afford testing like some other places did. But you know what? They made it work. And the NFL made it work. And there were some bumps along the way. There's no question about that, okay? But all the doom and gloom and the, what are we doing? What kind of message are we sending to our youth out there? You know what we're sending to our message? Live your freaking life. That's what we're sending to our kids. And that's what we should. I was never down with hiding. That's the only
Live your life
That's the only thing I'm going to say.
cautiously.
Lockdowns were a horrible idea then. They're a horrible idea now. It made no sense. Sorry.
So what should we have done? Then? Because we didn't know enough. Like, this is why I didn't disagree with the lockdown initially, because we had a new virus in that we knew nothing about. We were living in a day and age to where we were going through a real life experiment. Mm-hmm. We didn't know how to stop it. We didn't know how to cure it. We still don't. We're coming out with new information every single day, getting fed new and new information every single day. And for us not being there and me being able to see nurses, or who my best friend wife, she's a nurse, so she's working those floors, and hearing the stories that she would tell me, I knew it was real. I knew it was
100%.
I knew it was real, but it didn't affect everyone. It didn't affect everyone the same way, and that was the thing that they couldn't really get their finger on. And mind you, she's a nurse, so she's not the scientist. She only knows what has been fed to her.
Do you know what? Here, since you asked, this is what I would say. I didn't mind it for a couple weeks to give the healthcare workers a breather. I didn't mind it for a couple weeks. I don't live very far away from an area that was set up to be one of those field hospitals. And as we know, and again, I'm not allowed to say this, that field hospital was never put into use. It never happened. Coba was never turned into a mass hospital bed, or whatever they're calling it now. And out where I live, north of me in Novi, it never happened. All those terrible sum of all fears proclamations never happened. And again, I think what's strange about this argument, if I say that, some people get offended, and it's like,
Why is that?
Why are you offended at me? I didn't do it. Joique, much like Art said earlier, Art, I love what you said, how dangerous COVID is after 10 o'clock, okay? Was COVID, when we played this game of hide and seek, locking down, was COVID just going to get frustrated and leave?
COVID at a curfew.
I can't find anybody. This game of hide and seek sucks. Everybody's hiding so well, so I'm going to leave. It was moronic. I'm sorry, it was.
This is probably what it was. It's probably people work mostly during the day. So I'm not going to make people go home during the day. We're just going to make
I'll tell you exactly what it
night.
is. It's bar. After 10 o'clock, people get hammered, I guess, in Michigan Monday through Sunday, and they didn't want people getting drunk and taking their mask off and throwing up in public or whatever. People go out to the bars and drink, and the next thing you know, their mask is, in their pocket. So I get it, but it's just, to me, it's another form. I'm not trying to be like, it's control the government and all this, but we've done this for a year plus now. Not everyone is going to follow all the regulations. We're humans. It's not going to happen. There's idiots out there. So it's like, you got to do what's best for you and your family. But at the same time, we're not ever going to all be on the same page. If we did, there would be world peace.
Well, you know what I can back up science? You know what I can tell you? When the lockdown ended, the numbers stayed here. And then you're never going to believe what happened. When the lockdown ended, they started to go like that again. Can you believe that? I mean, wait a second. Hide and go seek didn't work. Hiding from a fucking virus didn't work. Whoa! Are you serious? Learned people are arguing dumb things like that. Of course the number's gonna, I'm sorry for my language. Of course the number's gonna go up.
Don't you apologize.
Right? I mean, it was common sense to me. So then what do? Do we lock down again?
We're going to be locked down forever.
Wait a second. We just saw how well that worked by the mere fact that those numbers went straight up again. What are we doing? So that's why I say from day one, live your life. And if you're somebody that's worried about it, I'm going to respect you. I'm going to wear my mask. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to social distance. I might not even come over your house, Grandma.
My question is this, though. Why do we have to have a deadly virus to get people to start washing their hands? Why?
That's a great point.
Why? Why do we need to have a virus for people to go and stock up and take up all the wipes, the Clorox wipes, the Lysol wipes? Why was you guys buying this stuff before?
I'm Joique Bell.
Are you trifling? Are you trifling? Huh? You nasty? You said I already had that stuff. And so when they ran out of Lysol wipes, I've already had wipes enough to get me through 3 to 4 months. I already had it. I had bleach. I had all this stuff in my household. Why do we have to go? You didn't have tissue before? You didn't have tissue? Seriously? Sean, what are we doing here?
I always wipe with my hands.
You know what I'm saying?
I can get in.
What would you wiping with?
I kind of cup my hand like it's always been the cup for me. I just go like that.
Yeah.
And that first wipe is more. I get the bulk of it out.
We gotta go to
and then I
break,
take
bro.
the fingers, and that's when I clean.
And then after he did that, he don't wash his hands.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
no, hell, it's like I'm making Joique some ribs.
You see Matt's face? You see Matt's face?
You are disgusting.
Here we go, guys. We have to go to break and come back, and we'll let you guys know who has the worst odds for the 2022 Super Bowl year. Hey, come back, Sean Baligian.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys and ladies. This is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking Thorogood boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Morning, Art. Morning, D-Mac.
What up, though? Joique Bill here with your DraftKings Rockin' Sports update. You have the Pistons hosting BK tonight with no Kevin Durant, trying to stop a 4-game losing streak. Wings in Florida against the Panthers. Hey, trying to get 2 in a row. Hey, you want sports? You have it right here. Woodwardsports.com.
See, you went in the tunnel, didn't you? You went right in the damn tunnel, just like we talked.
I had the black mask
Joique
out.
is a god.
Under pressure, right on the spot. Bam! L-Town style.
Well, bam, thank you, Mel. Well, bam, thank you, Mel. You know,
Joique was mentioning media people earlier. He's like, just like media people. I'm like, Joique, you are media people.
Yeah, now.
You are media people. You can't say that you're not in the media.
I am the media.
You are the media.
I was the media when I was playing, too. Don't forget, I had the Answer the Bell segment, too. So
Yeah.
I was some in media while I was
I've
playing.
been doing this.
No, you know what? It's interesting because so many comments. I like what Scott said going back, and I hope you all know, wash your hands, get all that stuff. But Scott said,
100.
SARS, MRSA, Ebola, West Nile, Zika, swine flu, bird flu. It was all supposed to kill us off over the last 20 years. Somehow, humanity survived. And listen, guys, again, hear me out. It's real. COVID is real. If you lost somebody close to you, I'm sorry. It's absolutely real. I mean, it's what, 400,000 deaths now? Like, you can't say it isn't real, all right? But again, it's not an all or nothing situation. When you're constantly telling people that Tuscaloosa is going to cease to exist, or you wait and see what this giant spike is going to be, and it doesn't happen, well, what are people supposed to say? What are they supposed to say at that point in time? Can you get angry at them for saying, hey, wait a minute, that didn't happen? That's where we're at today. It's really kind of screwed up. I hope that pendulum starts to swing. I really need it.
Yeah.
All right, so, Joique, can I ask you something? Are you mad at me after you saw the odds of for the Super Bowl in 2020? Are you mad at me? Because I thought about you when I saw the odds come out.
No.
You know, and some of the people out there. And what I mean by that is the Lions are going to suck next year. They're going to suck. They're going to suck.
You think 5 wins next year?
And
That'd be
Joique,
good.
to your point, Vegas thinks they're going to suck too.
Yeah, they do.
How bad does Vegas think they're going to suck, Joique?
150 to 1 odds. 150. Tied for last with the Jags.
Can I tell you the difference between sucking this year under Holmes and Campbell and sucking last year under Quinn and Patricia?
You're looking at, you can see the light.
Yes. Last year, they weren't trying to suck.
But listen, though, do you really see the light yet? Even though you don't see any?
No.
So what's the difference?
They understand the suctitude. They were trying hard not to suck last year, and they sucked. They were trying hard not to suck the year before, and they sucked. This team understands where they're at, understands that 2 or 3 years from now is what we're going to be talking about. Now, if 2 or 3 years from now we're talking about 150 to 1 odds and 5-6 wins, then we're all going to have to sit back and go, uh-oh.
This didn't work.
Are these guys the right guys? Yeah. You know, you have to see some progress, right? And I really firmly believe
how many years for that?
I think 3 years from now. Just one man's opinion.
How many games do you want to see in 3 years? One. You want to see a playoffs?
All right, so
in the playoffs?
I tend to agree with Maz. I can see them sucking badly this year and still winning 5 games. And I can see them sucking badly 2 years from now and still winning 5 games. I would like to see them bump up to 9 wins and make a legitimate run at the playoffs, a not ready run at the playoffs. But it's like what we talked about with like the Caldwell era. I want to see progression after that.
My question is, what happened if we, not next year, but a year after next, we get the 9 wins?
I'd be happy as a pig in slop.
And it happened faster than what you thought.
Oh, my gosh, I'd be happy as a pig in slop.
The only way that's going to happen is for us to build a team in the draft, free up some money in the cap space, and bring in some more free agents to help guide these young men.
Sure.
And show them how to be professionals.
Sure.
Some, you're going to have some guys come in, and it's very rare. You'll have a guy come in like a Sue or Aaron Donald or Calvin Johnson who comes in and they know how to be pros already. All right. But it's some guys that you're going to have to kind of mold. All right. Some guys like a Darius Slay had to be around like a GQ, a Glover Quinn, or a Rasheed Mathis, and they help. And they help him. They'll help you become a pro, right? And how did that work out for him? Pro bowler. all pro now. And so it's gonna be that type of talent, that type of leadership we're gonna have to have in the locker room in order to be successful.
Maz, I'm going to go back to our generation. I look at the arc of Jimmy Johnson's Dallas Cowboys. Okay, Joique, they went 1-15. They were by far the worst team in the National Football League. Okay, they made a trade that at the time everybody in the world thought it was the dumbest trade in the world, and now it's looked at as one of the greatest trades in the history of sports. Okay, and dealing Herschel Walker for just a bundle of things. Look up the Herschel Walker deal. They went from 1-15 to 7-9 to 11-5 and getting hammered by a team by the name of the Detroit Lions in the playoffs, right?
All right.
To the point where, in a very famous statement, Pat Summerall, this is pre-Purple Hands, Pat Summerall said, "John, I think we're looking at the two teams of the 90s," right? And little Sean sitting at home just going, "This is the greatest. If Pat Summerall says it, it's got to be true." Right. And then the Lions won nothing, and the Dallas Cowboys went on to win 3 of the next 4 Super Bowls.
Right.
But that, to me, they sat back and said, we have to fire our legendary coach, Tom Landry. We have to fire him. We have to get rid of all these veterans that had so much success, and we have to totally rip this down to the ground and build it up. And something like that, I'd be ecstatic. But that goes to show you how long it can take. They were 1-15, 7-9, 11-5, getting embarrassed by the Dallas Cowboys in that first run in the playoffs,
right,
to next year being a super team and kicking the shit out of everybody. And once they got to the playoffs, they really kicked the crap out of people. They beat Buffalo in the Super Bowl that year, 52-17. So my point in saying this is, what I like about this franchise is they're saying, we're terrible. This isn't good. And it's by design. Again, it's not my words, it's their words. They're talking about 2-3 years from now. And let's make all these draft choices. Let's bring in some of those guys that you talked about, Joique, those X-Factor guys, those glue guys, that maybe when they sign a guy like Glover, maybe people aren't going crazy, okay?
Right.
But you don't understand what Glover brings to the table
team.
and what he brings to the room. You
Exactly.
don't get it. You're not there.
You don't get it.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what we need, though.
Yep,
Those are the type
1,000%.
And you got to think, when we had that run in 14, we had guys like that coming in. All right, we had guys like Rasheem Mathis coming in, Glover Quinn, Reggie Bush. We had Golden Tate coming in. We had like these guys that we got in free agency to help the young guys, like a Theo Riddick that we go and draft, Darius Slay that we go and get, a Bill Bentley. Like these guys we draft, they come in, and like we need those type of guys, right? You have all this talent coming in from college into the NFL who they don't know the first thing it takes to be a professional.
I liked Bill Bentley.
I did. Like him a lot.
Right? And I'm not just saying that because he comes here, but you think about this. You bring in a guy like Bill Bentley to a team that has some damn good pieces. How much better is a Bill Bentley going to be?
Exactly.
You bring in an unheralded guy from Wayne State that already has some pieces. Well, how much better is that guy going to be? I mean, it's simple. That's what this franchise, in my opinion, they're finally at the point where they said, this isn't working.
This
we
isn't
give.
working.
We give.
Yeah.
Like this is full submission, and we're gonna suck the next 2 years, and I hope our fan base knows we're gonna suck the next 2 years. But you know what? 3 years from now, maybe we can make some noise. Maz, I love it. Don't tell me that Nance didn't go Summerall the other day. Fournette. Touchdown. He did. It was Nance did a total Pat Summerall call on that touchdown run by Fournette. How about Fournette? Remember,
you tip your hat off to him.
Jason Carr. Jason, I don't know if you're watching, but Jason Carr, who works for Channel 4 here in Detroit, Jason Carr responded to a tweet that I made, and he goes, Pat Summerall, 4 words, Montana, Rice, touchdown, Niners. Greatest call ever. I mean, that's how easy that guy made it. Growing up for us, Pat Summerall was like, that was the gold standard, right? But there was nothing special to it. It was like Aikman, Irvin, touchdown. And it was like I always say, soundtrack to our youth, man.
Don't forget Murder.
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 She wrote. Coming up after the game, murder. She wrote.
Hilarious.
Oh, it was great
That's
stuff.
hilarious.
No, I don't. Lions are tied with the Jags at 150-1 losses, and Joique, I'm gonna say the same thing about the Lions right now that I'm saying about the Pistons. I don't mind it. I
don't mind it.
You're saying, look, we're not good. The way we've been operating hasn't worked. So we're going to switch things up. We're going to take our lumps. We're going to get our high draft choices. Now you have to make those high draft choices count. Make no mistake about that.
We do.
But and then in a couple of years we're going to be ready to go. It's smart business to me, man. It just is.
Do you like the trade that we just did
With the Pistons?
Yeah.
Love it.
You love it?
Love it.
I loved it.
Love it.
And like you said, we talked about this before. When you and just to kind of jump off your back, you talked about D Rose, and he has a lot of basketball left in him.
Yeah.
Right. Now he might not help you compete for a championship team. I mean a championship, but he has a lot of basketball left in him. And now when I look at D Rose, I think he's more so playing. He's playing now because he wants to enjoy the game. Right. He's going to compete. Yeah, he's a natural competitor, but I think he's more so in tune with his family and just taking care of his family and going out there and not going through the motion, but enjoying the game and making it fun and make sure and he has good leadership. But I love this move because not only do we get a great talent, but we also get a draft pick.
And you know what it does?
We get a draft pick.
Joique,
we get a draft pick.
I am high on draft picks.
I'm
a draft pick junkie. Give me draft picks. Give me picks. Give me picks.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're getting a young player that for whatever reason it hasn't happened yet, but maybe he needs to be in the right place with the right circle.
Yeah.
Kind of like a guy by the name of Chauncey Billups that was a high draft choice and hadn't panned out yet and came here and became a star for the Pistons. You know what?
Yeah.
Again, the one thing I hope all Lion fans can agree on, okay? The way that they had been conducting business wasn't working. This team was not going to maximize Matthew Stafford anytime soon. So Matthew Stafford knew it was time to go, and I think conversely the Lions knew it was time to go. So you know what you do? Start from scratch, man. Tear it down, rip it up. And, I don't want to say from scratch because, again, I think you've got some pieces at a very important position that you can build around. I think you've got two established players on that offensive line and maybe a couple more that are going to turn into something. So, you know what, Joique? To me, I'm excited. I'm excited about what's going to happen a couple years from now.
Right.
And if you're thinking about 2021, and I know how it is. I know by the time the season rolls around and after the month of August, people go crazy and the season's drawing near and, maybe this team isn't as bad as we thought. If I had a dime for the amount of times you hear somebody say that, Joique, yeah, they are as bad as it sounds. And I don't have a problem with it because the prize we're all hoping is 2 years from now. This team as is isn't going to go out there and win anything. The
Right
best
now.
they can do is maybe mess around and win 7 games or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
You don't want that. You
I
want
don't
those draft
want-
picks. You want those draft picks.
Come on.
Nah.
Come to Papa, right?
Come to Papa.
That's what I want.
Come on home to Daddy.
So we'll see.
Put the Roosters to bed.
150-1 odds.
Crazy.
Jets and Texans for worst odds. Sportbetting.com has Detroit tied in last with the Jags at 150-1 odds.
Terrible. I mean, you spoke it up.
Does that stuff mean anything to you guys in the room?
No.
Ever? You never even talk about it?
No.
Shock
never.
the world or any crap like that?
No, we have those conversations. So if we're in a team meeting to where we're going into a season and the media is against us, we go into the season with it's us versus everybody. Like the only people that believes in this room are the people in this room, right? And we go into the season with that mindset. It doesn't matter what anybody else says, because at the end of the day, the eye in the sky doesn't lie. All right, you go out there, you play the game, you have your teammates, right? You have your coaches, and that's all you need when you're out there. Because at the end of the day, when you look up and that scoreboard reads 10-7 or 20-3, and you're winning, and you won the game, that's all that matters, right? That's all that matters. It doesn't matter. Everything else doesn't matter, right? And that's one reason we don't really deal with media. We, when you win, say little. When you lose, say less. And that's always been our mentality when we played. And so I remember when I played for Detroit in 14, our main goal was we didn't want to lose any games at home. We said we're not going to lose any games here at home. And I think we almost accomplished that. I think we might have lost one, if that. But that was that's what we wanted. And we wanted to go on the road and steal some games away because it's really hard to win football games. And it's definitely hard to win football games on the road. And you know what's harder than beating a football team once is beating them twice.
Yep.
That's one of the hardest things to do. I
Couldn't
mean,
agree more.
And you beat a team twice, it's going to be real difficult to beat them 3 times. A classic example, Buccaneers versus Saints.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Larry said, guess I will stop watching the Lions for 2 to 3 years if we are going to rebuild. Angry face, angry face, angry face. Larry, maybe you should because that's what they're saying. That's not even me saying it.
Yeah.
I know it's easy to get mad at the guy that's saying it. I mean, they're saying it. I mean, that's from Coach Campbell. Give it 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Larry said, watch the Lions be a winning team. Larry said, hold on. We don't even have a roster, man, to say we are going to be good or bad. Joke. Larry, you seem like an intelligent guy. I'm going to reason with you right now. You seem like a very intelligent guy. I know I'm coming across as condescending, but I'm really not.
But you are.
The mere fact that they don't have a roster on February, what's today's date, 9th?
9th.
How does that look right now? And they don't have a lot of money to spend to go fill that roster. How does that look right now? Again, I'm not being mean. Please take it. I want you to think about this. Hey, Joique, how would you like to be a member of a football team right now where you don't have half a roster? Half a roster, and you also don't have a whole heck of a lot of money to go spend to fortify the roster. How would you feel being on that team right now? What would your expectations about next year be? I'm not being mean. This is all real. This is what we're dealing with. And I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. It's been time to rebuild this. It's been time. But like Larry, the joke to me is if you can't figure out what they're doing and somehow, some way it's a good thing to have no roster right now, I guess we just watch 2 different things, and that's okay. Right? Joique, I'm not like
Sean, you're a jerk.
Right? It's not exactly a secret.
I would hate to talk to you on here. Ugh.
Sean, stop using facts. We all know facts are mean. I know. That's like what we were just talking. Don't get mad at me. This is what is.
Well, I want to, you know what really grinds my gears? What really grinds my gears when Sean goes off on our listeners. Larry Pope, we were saying,
me, but it's like, dude, I
real
didn't
quick.
do this. It's
all
not
right,
my fault.
So for the people just tuning in, the Pistons, we made a trade, Derrick Rose for Dennis Smith Jr. In a 2nd-round pick for, is it 2021? Mm-hmm. And so I love the pick. I love this guy. He has a lot of talent. I think with the right coaching, the right opportunity, he can reemerge. Lottery pick. And we're doing a lot of things with lottery picks. I mean, we brought in Josh Jackson. We're bringing in these guys who they have the talent, and we've seen it. But is it the coaching? Is it the situation? Is it the teammates? What is it? And I've seen Josh Jackson come back here and reemerge, and I love what he's doing with the team. I love what he's doing with the team. It was a great fit for him.
I think this is the next step in rebuilding a franchise and rebuilding it the right way. And I'm going to keep tying, and Larry, you're right, we will see. I can't sit here and tell you definitively I know what's going to transpire in 2021. I can tell you definitively, and by their own words, that they're kind of in the same position that the Pistons are in. And I'm going to keep drawing this comparison of The way we operated didn't work. We're going to take our lumps. Right now, the Lions don't have a lot of money to spend. They have a lot of money locked up in Jared Goff in particular now in owning that contract. And there are a lot of holes to fix.
And there are.
And for the Lions, I mean, you're talking about, in essence, an entire defense. Now, are there pieces that I think Jeff Okudah is going to be a good player? I really, truly do.
I'm going to tell you now.
I really think he's going to be a good player.
Sean, I'm going to tell you now.
All right.
You want to make Jeff better? You want to make him better?
Yeah.
You know what you do?
What?
You get people in the trenches. You have to get a good front seven. You need that. Right? You need that good front seven. That's going to make him better. Less time to have to cover. Less time it gives the quarterback more of an opportunity to make a mistake when you have a pressure on it. And you look at what happened when they pressured, Mahomes, one of the best in the game with pressure. Mistakes are going to happen. And I'm telling you right now, that front seven for the Bucs made the secondary job so much easier.
It's amazing how that works out. How many times have you and I talked about that just in the 2 months we've been working?
Yeah.
It is such a huge, huge factor.
They were probably in cover 2 almost the entire game, getting pressure from the front four. They was rushing 4 and getting pressure on the quarterback almost every single play. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't run, so they were one-dimensional. No.
I hope Okora, what we saw last year out of both Okoras, I hope that continues. We don't know what they have at linebacker right now. I mean, that's period. We just don't. I mean, have we seen enough of Tavai? I think we have, personally. I don't think he's a National Football League player. I'm not being mean when I say that. I like Jared Goff. I don't like Jared Goff. I like Jared Davis, but he's been out of position.
You don't like Jared Goff?
I don't like Jared Goff.
You don't like him as a franchise quarterback?
No, he's a great placeholder.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you like him for that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you like Jared Goff?
Yeah, but I like him. I like him to be gone in 2 years. Does that make sense?
Well,
I really like him to be gone in 2 years.
But you like him right now, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he fits his team right now. Because they're not going to win.
Okay, then. So you like him?
I guess I do, now that I think about it. Hey, Maz, I like Jared Goff. Thank you. I think he's a perfect quarterback for a placeholder. Yeah. But, and I think the same thing can be said for the Pistons. Okay, the Pistons' problem to me for now 12 years, now almost 13 years, okay, they haven't had, like, high-end talent. They just haven't.
They haven't. But you know what, though? That goes back to the Patriot way. Feeling that they can put anyone in any position and make them a star. That's what they did.
Do you think that's applicable to the NBA today? Could the Pistons, what the Pistons did in 2004, could that happen again today? Where you get a bunch of really good players, okay?
Really good players.
Really good players.
Do you think any of those players are Hall of Famers? You got to think long and hard about that. Longevity.
Do you want me to answer it the snobby way?
Answer it the snobby way.
Snobby way, no.
Okay. So Chauncey wouldn't get in yours.
Compared to the what's in the NBA or the Basketball Hall of Fame, yes. I think Chauncey.
Chauncey.
Maybe Sheed.
Okay.
Ben, as great as he was one-dimensional, he was still one-dimensional.
He was one-dimensional, but he was the greatest in the game at what he did.
Would you put him in?
I'll put him in the Defensive Hall of Fame.
The Defensive Hall of Fame?
The Defensive Hall of Fame, for sure.
That's located in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. If you get into the Basketball Hall of Fame, that's in Springfield, Massachusetts. Okay. The Defensive Hall of Fame is in Pawtucket.
Yeah.
Beautiful city, by the way.
What about Tayshaun Prince? No?
Tayshaun Prince, no.
Not at all?
No. But what Tayshaun Prince was for us, he was the X factor. Yeah. He played well. We had a better shot of winning.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what he was. So when he was on, we were almost 99% of the time going to win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I felt about Tayshaun Prince. Now, when that team split, I'm like, wow. Because I think, was Tayshaun the first to go?
Chauncey was.
Chauncey was first, yeah.
Chauncey went in the deal. No, Ben was. Ben went, Ben went in 07 to Chicago.
Yep.
And then Chauncey went.
And then Billups. And then,
And then Rip ended up going to Chicago too?
Eventually, somewhere down the line.
Yeah, ended up going.
Scott said, I don't think that could work today. Today's game is isolation and three-point shots.
Yeah, do I think that?
I don't know.
I think that 014 beats a Warrior. No.
There's no defense in basketball anymore. I mean, when you look at the points that are being scored, it's insane.
Is it no defense or just better offense? The offensive game has really changed in the NBA.
Yeah.
If you look at what these young guys are doing, the training that they're doing now is totally different from training back in the day.
No doubt.
I mean, the ability to be able to create your own shots, to being able to shoot over the defender. The training that they're doing now wasn't even around then. So the kids playing in the NBA now, they have a jump start. It's not even close. Like, do I think I think the Warrior team, the 73 and it was a 73 and 8, 73 and 9.
73 and 9, right?
It might be 73 and 8.
Hold on, let me do them. No, it was 73 and 9. It's 82 games.
What was
right, man? 73 and 9. That GSW team.
Yeah.
73 and 9.
All right, 73 and 9. All right. Do you think that team beats the Bulls?
No way. No.
Why not?
I
Who was scoring? I mean, who's gonna stop the scoring? Like, you have two of the greatest shooters of the all-time in NBA history on one team.
I think you could legitimately say, Scotty with his length, and I hate these arguments because I hate.
I mean, it's generation. We can't have this argument. We go on forever.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, like, would you put Warriors up there, one of the top?
Yes,
teams
for their generation. You have to.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Because I mean, dynasties are just so difficult today in sports. Just they're just so they're so difficult. But the different. I mean, Scotty and MJ would D you up. I mean, they would.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a different game.
Defensive game back then.
Yeah,
it's a different game.
It's a totally.
The game has changed. The same way the Fab Five changed the game.
Look at him. Did you hear that segue?
Hey-o.
Did you hear that segue? Are you guys old enough to remember? Because I asked Art and Joique, and they just know the stories of.
We know the
Fab
story.
Five.
I was because that was around 91.
Yeah, the 91, 92, 92, 93 season were the 2 years that they were together.
So I was about 4 when they were playing.
Maz, what was the number you told me? 29 years ago today was the first time all 5 of them started together?
And scored all the points.
It was a cultural phenomenon. If you guys are too young to remember, I can't even describe to you what the Fab Five was. I can't. There's no way. And even watching, do you know what it was? It was cultural. It was. I don't even know how to explain. It was huge, and it was nationwide. It wasn't just around here. And it's funny. It was one of those kind of transcendent teams that I think even fans of the opposition kind of liked them. Because they were so young and brash and the baggy shorts and everything. Like, was I ever going to root for Michigan? Of course not. But did I kind of like those guys? Of course I did. It was hard not to because it was different. It was youth, and it was, 5 guys doing something that you can't do. Are you out of your mind starting these 5 freshmen? What's with those baggy shorts,
Yeah.
Back in my day, all of that. And
That boy.
Yeah, right? You kids from the ghetto, that'll never go over. And these guys went out there and balled, man. And, did they win a championship? No. They lost that first year to Duke, and that Duke team was great. And then everybody remembers, sorry, Chris, everybody remembers the timeout in 93. But it was, I think part of the story, Maz, and you tell me if I'm wrong, is the what might have been. If Chris Webber had stayed in school, what might have been in 94 and 95? You know what I mean? And that's part of the story. It was, Joique, I'm not joking. I've never seen anything like it in my life as a sports fan. And I don't like overstatements, but it was transcendent. It was social.
The baggy shorts, the black socks.
People got into it. People just, I know I told you, I had a communications professor in college that was probably 60 years old at the time. Never said a word about sports, right? She used to get pissed at me because, I had to do all these persuasive arguments, right? So every persuasive argument that I would make in my communications class was always about sports, to the point where she told me, you aren't doing sports persuasive arguments anymore. Do something out of your comfort zone. She would come in and wax poetically about the Fab Five, and I was like, right, but it was one of those things,
I'm going to
man.
give you a funny story. I'm going to take a sip of this water real quick.
All right, go ahead. That's why when I need a drink of water, I reach for Pellegrino. Yes, Pellegrino.
Stop it. I'll tell you, when Sean gets into character, he really gets into character. But really quick, so 91, 92, that's when the Fab Five kind of took over, and they were a pillar when it comes to the culture and the style of the NBA or college basketball and just basketball in general. Because at my high school, we had a group of kids, 5 guys, all D1 talent. The whole starting 5 from my high school, they all went D1 in the sport.
Does that include Joique Bell?
No. This is in 91, 92.
Okay.
I was like 4 or 5.
Okay.
So the whole starting 5.
You were on the bench at 5, right?
No. But I was going to the games.
All right.
I was going to the game. You had these kids, they all come out, and they all had the Band-Aid underneath the eye, right? So the whole starting 5 would have this Band-Aid underneath the eye. And growing up, I was a Ben Harbor High School fan, growing up. I used to love the varsity football team, the varsity basketball team. I loved them. And so I remember they had Corey Charles, DeLeon Isom. Steve Neal was on that team too. You know Steve Neal.
I do know Steve.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he was a young buck. He was a freshman. You had Marcus Singer, which is now the mayor of Benton Harbor. And then you had Dre Isom. Dre Ice. And you had these 5 guys, and they went all the way to the state finals 2 years in a row. And these are the guys I used to watch all the time. And when I watched them and I started to learn about the Fab Five, I realized that they took a lot of their style from the Fab Five. Had the baggy shorts, but this is the same year that Fab Five was playing, so it was dope to kind of see that. But instead of having like the black socks, what they had the Band-Aid underneath the eye. I was like, that's dope. That was dope. It was dope.
Left eye lopes, right?
Yeah. Oh, it was dope. And they were dogs. I mean, they were some animals. I mean, they were ranked nationally. They were ranked number 1 in the state, and they ended up losing to actually Detroit. They're closed down now. I forgot. Detroit Persian.
Okay.
They lost to Detroit Persian. The Doughboys.
Yeah.
Lost to the Doughboys 2 years back to back. It was crazy. And so I would hear a lot of stories about the teams, how at the beginning of the season they'll scrimmage them, and then at the end of the season they had more players on the team. Like, where did they come from?
Yeah.
Back in those days.
Massive. How about Patrick Ewing and the T-shirt gang at Georgetown? That was huge. They were another ones. They were the bad boys in the early 80s. I mean, they were really the bad boys. Scott said, I got to read this. Well, Sean, Weber grew up in such a rough neighborhood and had such a hard life growing up that getting to the NBA was the only way he could make it in life. Do you remember, Joique, you and I have never had this conversation. This is one of those things when I hear guys say this, right? Here I am. I'm playing at university. I'm starving. I've seen the way these guys eat, okay? I've seen some of the spreads. You can talk about a lot of injustices, okay? And I think people using your likeness is wrong. Don't come at me with that we aren't being fed bullshit. I've seen it. I've seen some of the spreads. I've seen some of the spreads in Division II, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but don't... The starving athlete, I actually, being the smartass that I am, about 5 years ago, I started a movement called SOSA, Save Our Starving Student Athletes. Because remember, you had all these people, I'm giving my all to UConn basketball, and I can't even eat. It's like, knock it off. I've seen your spreads. I see what you get before the game. I've seen what you get after the game. I know your meal plans. There are a lot of things to complain about. A lot of things to complain about. How you guys are fed isn't one of them. And that was the big thing. A lot of people gave Chris Webber, in lieu of what we found out after the fact, a lot of people gave Chris Webber some crap around here because, one of his quotes was, I can't even afford to go get a pizza. Well, number one, again, we know how well those guys are fed. And number two, he was getting some money on the side.
He was getting money on the side?
Yeah, he was getting some money on the side.
I got to watch that 30 for 30.
Yeah,
again.
so, so I always kind of laughed at that. Because you know what I love, Joique, after your football games? When the parents would get together and have those barbecues, and they would, like they do at Tom Adams Field, or when you're on the road, and they set up those tables outside of the bus, just full of goodies. Little sandwiches and subs, and, there's a whole bunch of granola bars over there, and there's some candy there and stuff like that. That's awesome. It's like, and the parents always go, come on, Sean, come by. Oh, do I have to? Really? You're going to ask me to go get free food? Right? I mean, it's like, so when I hear that, it's like, I don't know why that became a thing. College athletes, you have a lot to complain about, okay? The way you're fed isn't one of them. You're not fooling me.
The way you're fed? The way you're fed?
Yeah.
No. We need, I'm happy that we can start getting money for our likeness. I'm happy for that. When I was in we didn't have that.
Yes.
Right? We didn't have that.
Absolutely.
Right? And so now that we're able to use our likeness for what we're working towards in order, you know how hard it was, right? And this is nobody else's fault. I'm happy I went through it. To have my son to work 2 jobs and going to school full time, on the football team, you have no free time. And then the jobs you're working, you can't work full time, so you have to work 20 hours here. At the other job, you have to work a few hours a week. And so you're struggling, and you're not making money off the things that's taking the majority of your time. Football is definitely a full-time gig. You're waking up at 5 in the morning. You're on the line ready to get after at 5:35. You get done with your winter conditioning. Now you have weight room. You're leaving there at 7:50. You have class at 8. So you're leaving the weight room around 7:45. So either A, you run, grab breakfast, and go to class stinking. We say stinking. All right. Or B, you go take a shower and you go to class hungry, and now you can't focus because you're hungry. And now you get out that class at 9:30. You have another class at 9:45. You have to go straight to that class, and then you have another class at 11:45. After you get out of that class at 11:15, eat lunch, go right to the facility, get ready for meetings, go to meetings for an hour, get ready for practice. Practice at 6 o'clock. You have dinner from 6 to 7:30, and then you have study table from 7:30 to 9:30. And then when you're done with study table, you have to go to the library again for another 2 hours to finish up what you didn't finish. And you wake back up, you do it again the next day. You mean to tell me we can get jobs and go work with that type of schedule?
Hey, like I said, you guys have a gripe about a lot of things.
Yeah, and so
being fed isn't one of them.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
Why didn't you
because
just eat
I'm gonna
in
tell
the
you why.
shower?
I'm gonna tell you why though. I'm gonna tell you why. Because in the summertime, when you want us to stay there and train in the summertime, you don't get study. You don't get the what's it called it?
The meal plan?
The meal plan. You don't get the meal plan. And so now you have to work in order to pay for all of your food. You don't have a meal plan.
Yeah.
So that's 4 months. So you get out of school in April. So you have May, June, July, and you report back in early August. So you're going 3 months and you can't pay for food.
It was interesting because this was during the NCAA tournament, and one of the players from UConn was making this case. Here we're going to play for a national champion, and we're not getting fed. And I'm like, stop it. That's an outright lie. I mean, I have no other way to say that. It's an outright lie. Joique, I saw the way that Wayne State got fed in D2. I was a part of a lot of those meals. Those meals were good meals. They weren't extravagant 5-star courses. I'm not saying anything like that. But did you get your nutritional needs met?
You did.
Yes.
Before the game.
Yes.
But you had some players, you're at D2, every player doesn't have a meal plan. I was fortunate enough to have a meal plan during the school year. I would have a certain amount of meals a day that I can use, right? And I would have a certain amount a week I can use. And every week they'll re-up on your 1 card. So we had at Wayne State, our student card, we would call them 1 cards. I had teammates who couldn't eat certain days, and so I would give them some of my meals during the week so they can have. And they would take food out of the cafeteria and take it back home. So, yeah, every player does not have food to eat.
Sean, are you ready to apologize?
I'm Sean Baligian for Save Our Starving Student Athletes.
Yeah.
This is a very serious issue today.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't have time to eat. I produce 2 shows. I don't eat until nighttime.
All right, we're not talking about you. You're not even an athlete.
I am an athlete.
No, you're not an athlete.
I am an athlete.
No, you're not an athlete.
Gamer's an athlete, right?
I'm a grappler. I told Joique. How many times do I got to say it? Meet me on Allegiance Gym, Sterling Heights.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase it because he's not a collegiate athlete.
Oh, yeah, that I'm not.
Okay, you're not. And so when you're representing an organization or a team or a university, you should be taken care of, at least with food.
I'm not going to argue with that.
But everyone doesn't, like I said, everybody doesn't get the meal plan. Some people, they might get books. They might get the tuition. Some might get room and board.
You guys have food, like, at the facility, right? There's
no.
Stuff doesn't just kind of magically appear?
No.
I've seen some stuff kind of magically appear.
No.
I've also seen some stuff
when
magically disappear down at the facility.
No.
I got to be.
Hold on. At the Lions facility or at college?
No, Wayne State.
At our no. So what we had was...
I saw some food disappear. I made it disappear.
Sean's doing some private investigating over here.
No.
It's really explaining it, though. It seems rough.
No, this is... It's enlightening.
No, because like even the friend I told you about, like because everyone doesn't stay on campus. You might stay around campus, right? You might stay in apartments around campus, but you're not staying in dorms, right?
Yes.
If you live in the dorms, you have to have a meal plan.
Yes.
And so I was one of probably I think 2 or 3 athletes that was staying in the dorms, and then the rest were staying off of campus, like in apartments, and so they'll have to either ride bikes, or walk to practice every day, or if they wanted to come in the cafeteria, they'll have to pay for it out of their own pockets, right? And and then more than likely, if they're paying out of their pocket for their food, more than likely they don't have tuition, or they don't have their books taken care of, or they don't have room and board taken care of. So you have all these different things that they're paying for out of pocket. So all I'm saying is that we should have this should have never even been an issue for us to go out here and get paid for our likeness.
Right.
That's stupid. I agree with that.
You
know that.
Right.
So then at least then you can eat.
At least and not only eat, but also have money to take care of your family. I mean, you have some guys. I remember who was it? Terry Crew. When he went to, I heard the story. When he went to Western, I think he was already married and had his wife living with him while he was in school.
Yeah, there have been a few guys like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, how can you take care of your family if you're in school or you're playing football? You don't have time to work because all your time is dedicated to the university and your grades and the playing football.
I think, but your story's different, and I think you're more dedicated than, and I'm not kissing your butt, I'm just saying, but you have a different story compared to others. Sean, what you're talking about, it just seems like
when I see the guys during the tournaments, say that, it's a load of shit. I have no other way to say that. I'm sorry, it is. If you're playing at UConn, you're a UConn basketball player, and you traveled to the Final Four, you are being taken care of like you wouldn't believe. Okay, yeah. Just like I'm not even gonna make Joique say this. Game day, he got his meal in the morning before the game.
Got a meal.
He got some snacks or whatever if they needed to be. And as I said, walking out to the bus after the game, there is always a table that has. Okay, would you like your spicy chicken sandwich or would you like your regular chicken sandwich? And then what the parents do at that point in time is they kind of put together a snack table that these guys don't even know it exists because some weasel broadcaster sneaks down there and takes half the food off the table and puts them in his car.
I totally can see you doing that.
Rennell comes with me too, so you have to yell at Rennell too. Rennell, you know you're just as guilty as I.
No, food from college.
You know what though? We had it was funny. We had a what they call it, the Warrior section. So when I was at Wayne State, after every game, home game, the parents would have like a tailgating thing at the end where they'll have like food for all the players. So we come out after the game and we'll have food there. That's probably the only time we'll have food at the facility. Yeah. And now they're doing like barbecues, like grilling during the game for when the kids are done. They have
unbelievable.
It's unbelievable now.
It really is a great spread.
And it's great. It's a great spread. Like Wayne State they've come so far.
Jason Clark oftentimes is the guy who's doing some barbecue work out there. Yeah, our mutual friend.
Yeah,
Jason Clark.
or alumni.
Yeah.
I've seen alumni back there cooking, grilling. And so it's great to see how far they've come.
Amber, I believe it's your sister, said, "Yeah, game day. They need them to compete." But what I'm saying, Amby, I'm sorry. What I'm saying is, if you're a UConn basketball player and you're traveling with the UConn basketball team, a major Division I program, and you are in the Final Four, I guarantee you, on the road, you are being fed incessantly.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about that.
So
when I hear a guy say that, I think that.
What about this? What about
that? Does an injustice to what the D2 guys are going
Hold on. What about this? I'm saying this. Say they're going to the Final Four. Right? You get there a day early, right? And they feed you, say, breakfast, and then they're not going to feed you again until dinner, right? And this is probably the day before. And they might have like snacks or something. But say you're out with your friends, you're exploring the city, you're stretching your legs out, you're not staying cooped up in a hotel. And you want to go to the mall, go shopping, do something just fun, just to get out, but nothing that's going to distract you from the game. And you're at the mall and you want to get a piece of pizza and you can't get a piece of pizza. You can window shop, but you can't go buy a slice of pizza because you don't have money. I think that's what he's talking about. I don't think he's saying like they're not.
You guys are talking about two different things, I think.
It sounds. I understand what you're saying. The point that you're making is great. When I hear a UConn player talking about that during his trip, you know as well as I do, those guys are taken care of during their trips.
Yeah,
nobody's going.
They don't get per diem.
They
get per diem, don't they?
On the road, I know broadcasters do. I don't know if players do, but you have your team breakfast. There's always a team lunch, and then there's a team dinner.
It might depend on the university.
I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that UConn basketball is probably taking care of their guys. Would you agree with me?
I think any D1 school.
Yeah.
Any big D1
Yeah,
school.
there's a massive difference between D1 and D2. No, I mean, and Amby, to your point, absolutely. I mean, guys at the D2 level, but I will also say this.
All right, when you play ball in college, how did they teach you?
Don't do this.
Traveling with you guys in D2, you guys were taken care of. Mr. Fournier made sure that there were some darn good meals.
Oh, yeah.
Really.
Very good.
Hey, with the average price of an ounce at Michigan dispensaries being hundreds of dollars, why not just grow your own? With just one light, you can pull down 48 ounces of your own green every harvest. Now, do that math and then head to Grow Green. They have everything you need and a staff of growers to help guide you. Check out the dank deals at growgreenmi.com to score some insane deals like bags of Ocean Forest for just $9 and 100 milliliter Clonex gel for only $12. End the sticker shock of dispo prices and start growing your own today with the help of the team at Grow Green. Remember to mention Woodward Sports for a free shirt. Legendary football coach passed away. We'll talk about that. Quarterback wins are not a stat as well. We'll talk about that. Don't go anywhere. So glad you can join us. He's Joique Bell. I'm Sean Baligian. This is Woodward. Hi, Instagram. How are you?
What up, IG?
Are we really?
Yeah.
I'm never going to join you.
You're never off.
I'm never going to join you.
Wait, you're never going to get an Instagram?
Never going to happen.
What is wrong with you?
I got to dig my heels in someplace.
Hey, grow up.
No, can I? No,
grow up.
Let me tell you something. Do you know how much of my life and time in my life is spent on this social media stuff?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Bull
You
crap.
have like Twitter and that's it.
Bull crap. I'm on Facebook every now and again.
Yeah.
I
Only
spend
to
too
talk
much
about
time on there.
Snowmageddon.
I'm on that stuff too much. I have barbecue to make. Come on.
You're sounding like a
me?
struggling college
I have
student right
hockey.
now.
I have hockey to watch. Come on, give me a break.
Love it.
Thank you, Steve. I don't have IG. I'm with you. By the way, Marty Schottenheimer, legendary, always a bridesmaid coach, passed away. It's amazing when you look at his career, and this is kind of, dude, Maz had great teams, just never won. It's the Dan Marino. Yeah, I mean, this close, so just nobody can deny. I mean, take a look at some of the seasons that he had, Joique. Just could never get over the top. I think he was Andy Reid until last year. Andy Reid had so many good teams for multiple franchises, and then finally, he popped the seal, won a championship. It's amazing. But Marty Schottenheimer passes away. So always want to say that. I mean, just, one heck of a football coach. But you can't, at the end of the day, you are defined by your championships, man. You are. You're defined. I'm not adding anybody on Instagram because I'm not on Instagram.
Right.
Stop asking me to add you on Instagram. It's never going to happen. I'm not on Instagram. I got to draw the line someplace.
You got to get on IG. You have to get on IG.
Why do I have to get on IG?
All right, because if you like barbecue, they have so many barbecue hats, and it's nothing but pictures.
My peeps do it for me.
I know, but it's nothing but pictures. You don't have to worry about politics.
My peeps do it for me.
Instagram's the shit.
I'm pulling the Joique right now.
What?
But
do I have a Twitter though?
Somebody's running my account for me, right?
But do you have Twitter though?
Right, I got my peeps.
But do you have a Twitter though?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. You just added me today, as a matter of fact. Thanks.
Wait, what?
That's great. 12 years later, Joique. I appreciate that.
What the hell is going on with you, man?
I've known you for 12 years, so I appreciate that.
Did Art raise his hand? Did you see him raise his hand?
I'm sorry. I said something in anger.
I didn't see it.
I'll raise my hand next.
I need you to watch your mouth, Art.
I'm sorry.
You hear me? I need you to watch
your
mouth.
You followed Baligian before me?
Did you hear that? I need you to watch your mouth.
I need you to watch it, Art.
You upset me.
Art fart.
Stop. That's bullying.
No, you guys, I'm fairly active on Twitter. Is that safe to say?
You are very active.
Okay, I'm fairly active. So, to me, it just takes up too much of my time. I'm not joking. It really does.
So are you not going to get an IG?
Never.
Flag on the play.
All right, flag.
Throw the flag on the play. Flag on the play.
I had peeps to run the Woodward smoke show account. Doesn't that count for something?
No.
It does.
No, it doesn't, because he's not on there.
The celebrity gets it. The celebrity gets it. Joique gets it.
All right.
Joique, didn't you say that the other day? You were like, I need somebody to run my account. You're a busy man. You're a businessman, right?
Yes.
That's what people don't understand.
People don't understand.
Joique's day is not, I'm done, I'm leaving, I'm done for the day. Chances are Joique has a business meeting in like an hour.
No, actually, 30 minutes.
Okay, right? Yeah. So you said life would be easier. Life would be easier. I love hearing the... life would be easier if, Joique, you went and got yourself somebody to run one or multiple accounts, right?
Yeah.
So basically, the guys, my buddy Mike from the Woodward Sports Smoke Show, I said, "Do you want to run the account?" He goes, "Absolutely."
Must be nice.
Chad, see now, if Chad says I should get the IG,
you need to get
yes,
IG.
Chad, whatever you need, Chad.
IG. I tell you what, I'll run your IG for the first week. For the first week. But then after that, I'm charging.
Hey, real quick, man, I got to send a big
how much
shout
do you
out.
Charge?
Hold on, I got to send a big shout out to the bro, Nate B, man. What up, Nate B, that hopped in the house. We got to get you on the show one day, Nate. Man, come hop on here with me. We'd love to have you.
Who's Nate B?
Nate Burleson.
Oh, Nate's on there?
Yeah.
Is he? Hi, Nate.
Yeah.
He's on IG. You need to get on it.
Yeah. You need to get on IG. You need to hop on IG. Anyway.
No, you know what? How much would you charge after that?
We'll talk off there.
I'll do business with you.
I told Joique I would run his social, but he's too important.
Art, you would never touch my social media.
I want your password. Just one. Just let me take over for a day.
No.
Hey,
absolutely
here's pictures of my kids. Feel bad for me. My name's Art.
Oh my God.
Some dudes, listen, some dudes are really good with the social media stuff. Like, I'm not joking. My buddy Mike is phenomenal. Like, all the barbecue stuff.
He is really good.
People think that's me. None of it's me.
All right.
Not Mike, like and that's why, and I told him, Mike knows me well enough. I'm not trying to skirt responsibility. I was like, Mike, do you want to run it? He goes, yeah, absolutely. Because he knows what an idiot I am.
You're not an idiot, Sean.
Yeah. But I mean, you know what I mean?
Not.
But do you get what I'm saying? Mike is phenomenal with that stuff. He's already like made all these relationships with people. Like just being Mike, and that's not. I've never been good at that stuff, right?
You're not, but you are good at that stuff. You just don't want to do it. It's very time consuming though.
What is
very time consuming.
What is a thirst trap?
A thirst trap?
Yeah, Kennedy said I can't wait for Sean's thirst traps.
A thirst trap is basically when you post when you make a post to get people to slide in your DMs.
You would post like a Speedo picture or something. I'm not having it, bro.
Sean,
dude.
Come on, Sean. You're not get the dad bod out, man.
No.
You've been keeping it cooped up for too long. It's been cooped up for too long.
If you want me near the barbecue, I'll do that. Sexy barbecue today. Let's go.
I can picture you right now
Damn right.
taking a picture and some like at outside by the pool with your swim shorts on with no shirt with barbecue drip, holding the barbecue.
You're damn right. And I'll be going like this, putting that rib across my chest.
Yeah.
Doing
I don't
that,
want to produce the
right?
show anymore.
Yeah.
You know you want it. And I'll have that rib, and Art comes running at me. Daddy!
Yeah.
And I give Art my rib.
Yeah.
There you go.
You guys just made this
Chad
really
just slid
weird.
he just slid into the message. What up, Chad? We're on all platforms. We attack. That is what we do. We attack.
All right, I have Facebook.
Kennedy Team
I have
Dadbot.
Twitter. I have. You know what's funny? Like you guys all better get used to it.
Yeah.
Something happens in your 40s. One day you go from, man, I look pretty good at my age, like 45, and then the next day you're like, what the hell happened? Who are you?
We don't know what happened.
You don't. It's.
We don't know what happened to you, Sean.
Trust me.
But I have a question for you. QB wins are not a stat. Brady defense gave up 9 points during the Super Bowl. If Stafford defense only gave up 9 points per game, his career record would be 155, 6-4.
That's awesome that Kennedy figured that out. That's awesome.
Shout out to our producer.
Do you remember last week when I got so mad at the guy about Jared Goff? Jared Goff and his playoff wins mean nothing coming here. And in a conversation with Matthew Stafford, it's absolutely moronic to bring that up. I mean, it is. It just, Jared Goff, 5 playoff wins if I'm not, it means nothing. You're coming to a team that isn't ready for the playoffs. He's an inferior quarterback to Matthew Stafford. And that's what the point that I tried to make to that gentleman. It was like, what does that have anything to do with this conversation?
It's definitely an upgrade, right? With what LA got for what we had.
100%.
Yeah, it's definitely an upgrade.
100%.
Matthew Stafford's a better quarterback than Jared Goff, but Jared Goff would be a great placeholder. I mean, you talked about for our team for right now.
Yes.
For right now. And that was your whole take. I don't like Jared Goff, but you do like Jared Goff.
Oh, for as a placeholder, 100%.
For this team right now.
100%.
Yeah. And
but I and this is where I think Kennedy knows she's going to my wheelhouse, and she's good job, Kennedy, because I can already feel the blood pressure shooting up. If I use that logic, Eric Kramer is the best Lions quarterback of the Super Bowl era. Nobody was better than Eric Kramer. He's the only guy to win a or win a playoff game. So in terms of playoff wins, okay?
Is that what makes a quarterback greater?
No, it's so dumb. Why does it come up? Why does that come up?
Because
I don't get it.
I'm telling you why. Because when they look at success and all you want is playoff wins in the Super Bowl, and you give us what we want, it's all subjective, right? I think everyone knows that Matthew Stafford is the best quarterback of Lions franchise history. It's not even close, right?
It's not.
It's not even close.
It is.
It's not close.
I can't make up. In my lifetime, there's Matthew Stafford, and there's nobody close. I mean, really, nobody.
Yeah.
There's nobody close.
Nah.
Scott Mitchell had a couple of cute years. You know, but there's no comparison. Like Scott Mitchell in '95 was sick. He really was. He had a sick year, but there's nothing close. And so like that's at the point. And I'm sorry, Jenna. Jenna said you went off on David. But I've heard that Matthew Stafford's whole career. It is such a bogus argument.
It is.
And that's the point that I tried to make. What is Jared Goff's playoff wins have anything to do with that deal? And I agree.
Now,
with
my
Steve.
question to you:
the Lions won the trade.
My question to you is this: Matthew Stafford goes to the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah,
he has success there. They treat him the way he should be treated, not only on the team in the city, but also in the media.
Yeah,
because the media doesn't give Matthew Stafford the credit he deserves.
You don't think so?
No.
I'll disagree with you in this regard.
No.
I think the beat writers do. Would you agree with me? The beat writers do? I think the beat writers do.
Okay.
The beat writers are kind of like me. I'm dumbfounded at why people can't understand what a good quarterback Matthew Stafford is. I am. I'm dumbfounded.
I agree with that.
But there are other media members in town that I think are trying too hard to be like that guy. And I'm going to be different.
In your own word, they want to be snobby.
Yeah.
They want to be snobby.
Yeah.
You know, give him his roses, and now that he's not here, we're really going to see in the next couple of years how much he meant to the team. We saw that when he was here, when he was playing MVP-type football, his best career. He started off great and then got hurt. And you saw what happened to the team.
Well, and you know what, Joique, do you know what this comes back to? I always bring this up, and Maz is in the room. He remembers this, okay? For whatever reason, my FB is down, Fish. The Facebook stream is down. The Facebook stream's down, so for whatever. I'm just telling you. Joique, Matthew Stafford could pull a John Elway, except the difference would be it wouldn't be in Detroit. It would obviously be elsewhere. John Elway, as great as he was, had a reputation as a loser, as a guy that couldn't finish.
You think so?
100%. Maz, would you agree with me? John Elway was a loser. John Elway was a guy that couldn't win the big game. He wins 2 Super Bowls, and now he's completely regarded as something else. And your generation that didn't watch him struggle early on doesn't know John Elway the loser.
Right.
And what if Matthew Stafford does that? Can you imagine winning a Super Bowl? Forget it. He wins 2. He wins 2 with the Rams. That, you want to talk about flipping the narrative, you know? And then it'll become a Detroit problem, which, to be honest with you, it always was a Detroit problem.
And I'm happy for the Lions and what we got in trade for.
I love the deal.
We love it, right?
Seriously,
we love it.
yes.
But you know what else I love? I love that Stafford gets to go somewhere else and get an opportunity to be respected, to be appreciated by everyone, not just from his teammates and his coaching staff and the front office. I'm excited to see what happens in the future for him.
You know what? I love that stat that Kennedy came up with. 155, 6-4.
Right.
That's Matthew Stafford's win-loss record.
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the both things can be true, like we talked about yesterday. The both things can be true. Tom Brady can still be the GOAT and have a damn good game, and Tampa's defense could have been stupendous. No doubt about it. All right, one more break to take care of, Art, right? NFL season coming to an end. The 2021 champs from Tampa have been crowned, and if you're like me and you've been betting on the NFL all year long, you might be wondering what's next. That's why I like my bookie, because no matter the sport or season, you can always win big now. I'm talking nonstop action, 365 days a year. Choose from hundreds and thousands of lines on the NBA, NHL, UFC, and more, because winning season never ends when you play at my bookie. NCAA March Madness right around the corner. There could not be a better time to start building your bankroll. So do yourself a favor. Get a head start. Sign up today at my bookie with promo code Woodward and get your first deposit match halfway up to $1,000. That is free cash credited to your account instantly on top of your deposit. Now, the best part is you always have access to the action, whether you're at home or on the go. Visit the website online today at mybookie.ag and use promo code Woodward to grab yourself a deposit bonus. Bet, win, get paid. It's my bookie. We'll wrap it up on a Tuesday next. Baligian and Bell on the Woodward Sports
Hey, it's
Network.
Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys and ladies. This is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
Okay.
Hi, how are you? So this just came down. Where did this? There's a rumor out there. My buddy just sent it to me from the NHL Trade Rumors site that the NHL is considering suspending the season. A few of the divisions, the Canadian division is not having a problem. A few teams and a few divisions are having a COVID problem, to say the very least. And so the NHL is, again, this is just rumor, speculation, and innuendo. I'll try to make some phone calls later and find out how much validity there is, but that would be unbelievable. Steve said the trade is comparable to Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, Steve, when you get a win-win, like the Rams, Joique, you said it. The Rams got an upgrade. Check.
They got an upgrade.
The Lions got a better package out of it and a placeholder until they get their guy. Check.
They do.
Okay, cool.
And you remember back when it was talks about this going on, I'm trying to bring it up now, But the trade with Stafford, I wanted it to be a win-win for both parties because they both deserve it. And just not to paraphrase it, the exact quote was, hopefully the Lions can make a trade with Matthew Stafford to a team where it's a win-win for both parties. Both deserve it.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what he got. Speaking with a few of his friends, I know he's in a good place. I know he's happy mentally. He's happy with the trade. Kelly's happy. They're sad. It's a bittersweet moment to have to leave a city that you've been in for such a long time, and your presence is embedded in the community. They're truly going to be missed in the city, but I mean on the field. But they're definitely going to be missed in the city. The presence that they brought. No, definitely.
Kevin asked a question: success or not, does Stafford sign the one-day contract, retiring as a Detroit Lion?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'll defer to you on that.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I could
sure.
see it.
I mean, he spent, 12 years here?
I will never, ever, ever begrudge that guy for wanting to go someplace else. Never.
He did all he could.
It was time for everybody. Really, it was time for everybody.
He did all he could. It's no hard feelings either way. He handled it with grace and professionalism, and he got what he wanted. The team got what they wanted, and there's, from my sources, there's no bad blood anywhere there.
I told you when we first started, I had a conversation with him after the decision was made about Quinn and Patricia on the radio, and I thought the second that I talked to him, he was gone. And I don't know if you remember this. You said to me, what was it that he said that made you think that? And I told you, and I adamantly, it's what he didn't say. It's what he didn't say.
It's about Dan?
That made me say, I think he might be gone.
Yeah.
I think it might be time to go someplace else. And I can't blame him.
But you know what, though? He probably came in and doing this interview, they'll probably ask him the question of, what are your plans with Stafford? What do you see with him? And this is a question they probably asked him and Brad Holmes, when they came in. What do you guys want to do with him? And based off those answers that he answered, were probably predicated on him getting a job.
You know what's interesting? I remember the question I asked him. I said, Matthew, you've been around this team for a long time. Where do you feel this team is at? How quick can this team get to the level that you want it to be? And you know what was funny? He took the high road. He's very politically correct, not in a bad way. He said, well, that's up to people other than me, people that are smarter than me and have a background in that. And I was like, he's right, but it's what he didn't say that kind of told me he's gone. You know, because, again, it doesn't take a rocket science. I know the fan and everybody wants to believe that they're just going to be good next year. It doesn't take a rocket science to see where they are right now.
Please, guys, in the comment section, if you think we're going to be good as a football team next year here in Detroit, you please comment yes so we can know who not to listen to. So,
did you hear the role reversal there?
Yeah.
Joique Bell playing the role of Sean Baligian. That was awesome, Joique. Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll love to see it.
Wow.
We'll love to see it.
Hey, what do we have today to end the show?
Yeah. Today, actually, want to do this one today? I mean, I can do it. And so today we're doing a story on Black history. We do one a day to end the show, and today we're doing it on the famous boxer Jack Johnson. So hope you guys enjoy it. Please take a look. Hope you guys learned something new.
It was dubbed the fight of the century, with the Great White Hope fighting to win back the world heavyweight title for his race. But that hope was knocked down by Jack Johnson, the son of former slaves and one of boxing's most controversial figures. Born in Galveston, Texas in 1878, Johnson worked a variety of menial jobs before becoming a boxer. After a string of victories against black and white opponents, he set his sights on the world heavyweight title. While white boxers would fight black boxers across the color line, they refused to risk the heavyweight title. But public pressure and an irresistibly hefty purse convinced world champion Tommy Burns to fight Johnson.
In 1908, Jack Johnson, a man who was born at the dawn of Jim Crow, defeated Burns and became the heavyweight champion of the world. That was an extraordinary achievement for a black man.
Public demand to return the title to a white man lured the formidable former champion Jim Jeffries out of retirement to wage the fight of the century. On the 4th of July, 1910, Johnson soundly defeated the Great White Hope. The loss led to racial clashes across the country, in which over a dozen people were killed and hundreds were injured. As Johnson's star was rising inside the ring, outside, his flamboyantly colorful lifestyle drew admiration, resentment, and envy.
He was brash, outspoken, married 3 white women at a time when in most states it was illegal. For some black Americans, his lack of respectability was threatening to the cause of civil rights. And for white Americans, he didn't stay in his quote-unquote place. So he wasn't what we would think of as a heroic figure, but he was certainly a figure who pushed back against the constraints of racial inequality.
Jack Johnson died tragically in an automobile accident in 1946. His prodigious talent and his fearless audacity both changed and transcended the world of sports.